Okay, recording is started. So we'll chant 3 Oms and Sahana Vavatu and begin. Inhale for Om 3 times. Turning your hands at the heart center, we'll sing Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bringing your hands down, gently open your eyes. Okay, the first part we'll be talking about is 2 shlokas. And if you can repeat the shlokas, that'll be wonderful. At least one of you should be unmuted. So one of you please unmute, those who can at least chant well, those who know Bhagavad Gita to some extent. Okay, so that others can chant along with the one who repeats. Okay, one of you, hope you have unmuted yourself. Let's do this. The shloka is Yadyad acharati sreshtaha tat tadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. So, okay, for whatever reason. Okay. Yadyad acharati sreshtaha
Yadyadacharati shreshtaha
tat tadevetaro janaha
tattadevetaro janaha
sayat pramanam kurute
sayat pramanam kurute
lokastadanu vartate.
lokastadanu vartate.
One more time, this time with the screen shared so that you can really see this. If you're close by, you can see that. Yadyad acharati sreshtaha
Yadyadacharati shreshtaha
tattadevetaro janaha
tattadevetaro janaha
sayat pramanam kurute
sayat pramanam kurute
lokastadanu vartate.
lokastadanu vartate.
Okay, so this is the shloka. Yad yad acharati sreshtaha tat tat eva itaro janaha tat tadeve itaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokaha tat anuvartate. It's a very simple shloka, very profound. Yat yad acharati sreshtaha. The word here, that the key punch word here is shreshtaha. To shrestha means one who is excellence, one who has achieved excellence is shrestha. So that is leadership. Leadership is not about anything but the one who is expert, who has a domain expertise as a number one thing, who has the competence in whatever area he or she is trying to lead. So that is the shrestha definition. And yad yad acharati shreshtaha. Once you become that kind of an expert, that kind of excellence when you achieved, whatever you do, whatever you follow, whatever path you follow, tat tat eva itaro janaha. That is what itaro janaha, others, will follow. So what really it is you work on excellence, and leadership is automatically yours because people like to follow that. Sayat pramanam kurute. whatever pramana means proof here in a literal sense, but actually it can be much more than that. Whatever this person says, then lokas tad anuvartate. The world follows that. That means if say Einstein says here, this is the theory of relativity, people are willing to take that. It's not what anybody says, it's who says. Remember, we say this. That is, I might tell my children, hey, you know what? You have to behave this way. But if I don't myself practice that, then children are not going to listen to that. So it's not about what you're going to tell anybody, but it is who you are in the first place. And then when that kind of a person who has achieved what they want to create or build in others, that is the person who is going to be Sreshta. That is the person who can be leader. And Krishna gives the example of King Janaka. So what he says here in this particular series of shlokas, not in this particular shloka, but in this chapter 3, he talks about the story, the example of Janaka. He says, Janakadayaha, the people like Janaka have been in yoga, although they are very busy people, they have still worked on achieving that excellence, achieving that yogic state of equanimity while they are in an extremely busy environment and dealing with so many problems. And that perfection of work, that perfection of or the excellence that they have achieved in working in the karma yoga brings that leadership, so people can follow that. So basically, leadership is about setting an example, according to Bhagavad Gita here. So this is a great example for even children, where they are children and youth are busy pleasing their friends. They're busy with, they don't like to be different. They like to be one among everybody, and especially for parents among this group, it's good to use this example, teach them the shloka, and tell them what Sreshta is, and to work on becoming Sreshta, so that tomorrow you don't have this crisis, this identity crisis. Because what am I? Why am I so different? Especially now that you are into yoga, and you are, some of you are Hindus among here, some of you are following a religion or a practice that is, or even yogic practice for that matter, which is different from the rest of the crowd, which is very busy partying on. Now this is Christmas, holidays are coming up, and everybody is busy partying, and here you are sitting and listening. So you are different. And the question will be, why are we so different? The children won't like that. They like to do what everybody does, because that's all they know. But when you bring this concept of Sreshta, when you create that earnest desire to become excellent, and then the world follows you. That patience, of course, is required, because you are now, for a initial period, you are in that learning phase. You are becoming excellent. You are not yet Sreshta. You are not yet there, and so you're working towards that. And then you feel, okay, why am I different? This kind of a feeling happens, and so we like to follow our peers. We like to blend with others, and that won't happen, because we are like, okay, where are we now? So there is a shloka for that. That when you are not yet in that realm of being a leader, and having achieved that confidence and leadership, when you're not at that, when you're in that path, how do I view that? How is the lifestyle going to be? And that is the second shloka, where he says, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. So we'll chant this again. Who is the Vasant who has been repeating? Unmute yourself and let us do that. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam
Ya nisha sarva bhutanam
tasyam jagarti sanyami
tasyam jagarti sanyami
yasyam jagrati bhutani
Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani
Sa nisha pashyato munehe.
Sa Nisha Pashyatu Mune
Ya nisha sarva bhutanam.
Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam
Tasyam jagarti sanyami.
Tasyam Jagarti Sanyami
Yasyam jagrati bhutani.
Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani
Sa nisha pashyato munehe.
Sa Nisha Pashyatu Mune.
Okay, this one will bring that, bridge that gap where we are now looking different, we are behaving different, we are not exactly following the worldly, behavior. So this can be explained with the shloka here, which says that which is night for everybody is day for the yogi. Sanyami is yogi, and that which is, to which the world is awake, and to that the yogi is asleep. In fact, very interesting. Nisha means night. Jagrati means to wake up. And then, so these are the two words. That is night and day. Nisha is night. So, ya nisha sarva bhutanam. For everybody, that which is night. What is night here? It's actually more of a metaphoric way of saying it. That which is night, meaning that to which the world is ignorant. That knowledge, the yogi is very much aware of that knowledge. And that the world is actually indulging into. That is yasyam jagrati bhutani. Bhutani means people. So that into which the world is busy and awake, that means nothing for a yogi. So this is the muni, samyami, yogi, all are the terms for yogi, for the person who is practicing or into yoga here. So the point here is that if I am interested in something that is not exactly what the world is interested in, then I should actually celebrate that, because that's what Bhagavad Gita sort of brings that aspect here, right? So if you teach this to your children or to yourself for that matter, in many cases we, or even family members, when we are into certain practices that are, and certain path that exactly is not the path of even family members, the conflict arises, right? They'll say, oh, what is this? You are never available. You are always into some seva activity, or you are into some Bhagavad Gita, or you are into yoga now on top of it. So what is going on here? Where is the time? No. This, when you understand this, then you will be able to actually take the whole family along, and the excellence that we achieve, the sreshta that we become here by following that path, right? Yadyad acharati sreshtaha. Even whether it's your family members or your community or your country, there is that initial resistance that will be there, but eventually everybody wants to be sreshta. Who doesn't want to be, to be excellent? Who doesn't want happiness? So then the world will follow you. Those who have opposed you will actually follow you, because now you have become sreshta. So move towards that sreshta, develop that personality, and then of course for that the big thing that is required is, first is always a goal to be there. That's why I brought that shloka there. Sreshta is the goal, and then comes the practice motivation. Where do you derive that motivation? Because you are now moving against the whole current, and you are establishing your own current. So there is a lot of difficulty in doing that also, because you have to juggle so many things. You should not, it's not an easy path. Just being a breadwinner and earning the bread and living your daily life itself is pretty heavy. That itself is pretty stressful for everybody. And on top of it, if you want to achieve something like excellence, obviously it's not going to be simple. So that's why two things are needed. One is the goal where you want to be. That brings clarity. That brings, okay, yeah, this is where I want to go. And then comes, okay, now yadyad acharati sreshtaha, and then comes ya nisha sarva bhutanam. Okay, then I cannot, it's okay for me not to do what the world has been doing. That's one thing. And many a times our own vasanas will drag us towards the same thing that the world has been doing. That is, I also want to party. I also want to be in those Christmas parties and have all night, celebration. Then you have to bring, okay, ya nisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagarti sanyami. Okay, then if I want to do all this, then I have to really stop these things. So to some extent, you have to bring yourself out of that. To a large extent, it's not even that you are bringing yourself forcibly out of that, but you are naturally coming out of that. It's something that doesn't interest you as much as these other things interest you. So that also naturally happens. So don't force yourself too much. To some extent you have to, because those vasanas will still keep pulling you down. A good food, aromatic food, obviously you want to eat a lot of it because it just gives you that pleasure for that minute. But then next day you'll say, oh, I should not have done that, right? So there is that prayas and shreyas, two words there. Prayas means that which is pleasurable, and shreyas is that which is in long term, that is good for you. So looking at shreyas instead of looking at prayas in a short term is also a way to develop the leadership qualities and become Sreshta. Okay. Any questions in this regard or any comments in this regard? Unmute and you can say. Okay, so there is going to be a reflection that is given right here, Bhagavad Gita reflection on leadership skills. So we have put the shloka and the meaning here into the assignment, and you will be asked to write the reflection. So you will be asked, you can learn the shlokas. In fact, this is a great time for you to just simply type the shloka, copy and paste. You will find the recording of it anywhere, everywhere on the YouTube. The best way to learn it is through Chinmaya Mission's Swami Brahmananda. Those chantings are really just whatever we just chanted, same tune he chants, and they are on the web, many of them. Otherwise, you can purchase from Chinmaya Mission, hopefully anywhere that you have. And if you want, you can also write to me if you want the recordings. I'll share them with you. Practice those two shlokas, and if you want, and otherwise just read them, read the meaning, and then reflect upon them and write a reflection. That's the homework. Any question? Okay. So at any point, stop me if you have any questions also. Now let's move on to the next part, which is the contraindications and benefits of asanas. What are the things that one should not do? At the high level, we are just going to talk about the contraindications and benefits. But before that, I just would like the group here to talk about anything that you have in terms of questions for the last 3 weeks. Have we been practicing for 3 weeks now? Yeah. Any questions, anything where you felt that, no, this is not the practice for me, especially those kind of questions? You can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay.
We can hear you.
Yeah. So for me, I guess the same thing as I wrote in my first thing. It requires some warm up. The practice requires some warm up, and it really requires some time. Sometimes a lot. We have to allot a specific amount of time every day for the practice. So that has been one of our challenges, my challenges. And the best time for us to do that is early morning. So that is one of the challenges that we have to work out personally.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have the first two weeks, so that's the first 3 sessions were really good. I was able to do the practices 3, sometimes 4 times for the week. But this last week, I haven't written my reflections because I haven't done the practice as I should. So like in the day, because my days are so busy, like for instance, the pranayama, I would only do few exercises of it. For instance, the Kapalbhati, Bhastrikas, and the Brahmari. So the asanas, for instance, I would only do a couple of the asanas, but not the full practice. So I think, and it's so ironic that today's class was about management of time and these things, because that is where my downfall has been personally, my time management. And that is the greatest challenge, finding the time, or not finding the time, but making the priority for the practice of the classes. But so far, one thing though, on a personal note, with Brahmari, we were instructed to put the tongue upwards towards the soft palate. Do we go above the soft palate? Do we go into Ketri Mudra, or do we just, yeah, don't.
No, don't do Kechri Mudra. Just the simple stuff.
Just touch the tongue to the soft palate. Because I think, and I share this openly with everyone here, I made that mistake of going above the soft palate to the top of the roof, the base of the skull, and that there created some energies that, I felt very much energized with it, but it was a challenge in balancing and keeping that in a forward motion. I felt a huge difference there, and I asked the teacher before, and she said it's okay, and I that's just something that with my practice that I avoided.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come to that. As soon as we finish this, we'll talk about the contraindications and we'll cover all of that. Yeah. Good feedback. Anybody else?
Yeah, from my experience of teaching yoga, found that the Hatha Yoga session of the class that we are supposed to do is beginners and people who are not fit, they will have some issues with completing that class.
Correct. We warned big time. That's not a regular class, and that's not something to be taken. Only if you want, please use it. Otherwise, please don't. We have said that. Why? Because why do we give a little more one notch up kind of class? Because everybody's fitness levels are different. And if you just took everybody on a very mild path, if I have a lot of energy, like what you were saying, sorry, your name again?
Vasant.
Yeah. The way Vasantji was saying, it's just because that name doesn't display here, so I cannot associate the name with the person's name. When I come there, probably it'll be much easier. So Vasantji was saying, right, there is this surge of energy, and if there is energy that is not catered to, it's going to create problems. So we have to have different levels of practice for different people, and there's no one size fits all. We cannot just take up start doing. So I had given that with a lot of apprehension, but the reason I had given that is because there are some at that level and they will love it, and that is the idea of that. And everybody, please don't, we have that other holistic simple Yoga Bharati class, right? That is good for everybody. That's a very general class, and that is the holistic aspect of yoga that we actually give. But this one is more for people who have that kind of fitness level and they want to burn that energy before they go into the relaxation practices. So we'll cover all of these aspects today. Okay. Good feedback. Yes. Anything else? Anybody else? Please talk. Virendra.
All right. Well, for myself, I had some issues this week, especially with the in terms of time management and getting my reflections done, the pranayam practice as well. I did mostly the yoga practice, but the pranayam I didn't follow up on a lot. So I still have a lot of work to do there. So for those reasons, I haven't actually followed up with the reflections as yet. With respect to the sessions we had previously, I think I'd stated it in one of the reflections that I am a bit out of practice. We usually teach small kids yoga, so you're not really going, it's not very excessive. So myself, I tend to, go at the same pace. But the heavier practice was good because it showed me where I need to be, and I know that I have to put in the work to get to that stage eventually.
Good feedback. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So, all right. So let's talk about the practice and the contraindications also, right? First of all, the practice and regularity related. Yes, it's not easy to motivate yourself for a long periods of time. It's always good to have one big jump start and then the thing slowly falls off. That is expected. So to be scalable, what you really want to do is pick up a very small set, 20 minutes. And one simple thing, for example, we are going to come up with a yoga yajna pretty soon, January 14th for 21 days. We do this every year. And 21 days is easy for people to keep that pace. And I think HSS also does that. So what here we do is that you just do your Surya Namaskars and then Om chanting. These are two things. If in fact, if you keep this Surya Namaskars and either Brahmari or Om chanting, alternate them, Brahmari or Om chanting. Ideally, Om chanting even if you included Brahmari in the beginning, you still have to go into Om chanting because Brahmari is pretty intense of a practice, but Om chanting is simpler because it doesn't give you so much it doesn't require too much energy, and it's much more tranquilizing. So you can start with a few practices of Brahmari and then move into Om chanting. So in fact, if you just even did this much, if you don't have time and you are in a car and you do that, many a times when you are working very, intensely, even your toilet seat can be your relaxation place. I mean, sorry to say this, but that's how many a times you can just, any few minutes you get, like 2 or 3 minutes, if you just took a deep abdominal breathing, right? You have to pull yourself, you have to like pluck yourself from that work scenario and just go into a room, wherever it could be. And if not anywhere in the office, if you just go into toilet and just close the seat and sit down there for 3 minutes and do abdominal breathing, you are relaxed. If there is no place, that's how it used to be at Oracle for me. And especially in, whether you are pregnant or whatever it is, we were asked to work in the same manner. Okay, what do? Put the seat down and just sit there and just close your eyes and just relax. And that's the only place you have to relax. Because anywhere else you sit, somebody will come in and then they want to ask a question and so forth. Okay, fine. And nobody will bother you. Your child also won't bother you, even in the house, right? Many a times for moms with young babies, that's a great place to relax. I'm sorry, that's the way I have dealt with my relaxation. So I'm saying there is no this place or that place. The goal is to sit there. You can afford to sit in one place. When that stress level goes up, you can just take 3 minutes of just abdominal breathing, QRT. And that's it, bringing your awareness to the navel region and just inhaling and exhaling and waiting for the next breath to pick up. So you're not breathing. We'll do that today. Little relaxation practices. That way, make sure to create a benchmark in your mind of a certain state of breath, certain state of pulsation. In fact, if your pulse goes up, I don't need anybody to tell me. I don't need to hold my 3 fingers here to find out what is my pulse. If it goes up to 80, I know that it's 80. If it is anything beyond 70, I know that I'm not feeling well. And I have to go and relax and bring my pulse down to 65, and then I'm good. So that kind of a benchmark, create that for yourself. And then you will know when you don't practice, you don't need to worry. Your body's intelligence will tell you, you know what, you have not practiced. You're feeling stiff. You're feeling something is wrong. So go ahead and practice. So that naturally happens. That urge to go and practice is good enough. Create that by just observing your body, mind, pulse, prana, everything. Okay, that is number one. Then just to let you know that 20 minutes of less sleep is for yoga is still worth it. Let's say you're supposed to get up at 6 in the morning and you woke up at 5:40. Those 20 minutes, if you got the chance to just practice Surya Namaskar, some loosening, Surya Namaskars, and lie down there, chanted Akara, Ukara, Makara, and Omkara 3 times, and you got up, last 1 minute of silence, even in Shavasana. If you have no energy being there in Shavasana, chanting that, you'll be fine. I would like to say this, that even through those little illnesses that you feel that this morning there is no way for me to get up because I'm falling sick or something is wrong within me, I have a sore throat and all this, just breaking that barrier and getting up and doing your yoga and going back to sleep after that will still make a difference. Making that as such a religion. How do I say that? Why do I say that? My own personal example is good enough for you guys. Right from very young age, I was like, somehow the immunity was very low and I used to fall sick every second month. So almost in a year, 6 courses of antibiotics, 5 to 6 courses of antibiotics because of sore throat, something or the other, from age 12, 13, I remember. And that continued on, right? But now in the last 15 years, I can see that my rate of antibiotics started reducing. Everything started, all my medications went down. And now it's not like I'm super, super healthy because genetically I'm not. So, but even if I'm sick, just that because I have a class going there and I have no choice and I can't get up in the morning 6 a.m. and ask for a substitute teacher, I just go there, teach and come back and I go, wait a minute, what happened to me? I feel energetic now. So somehow the illness somehow is there. Where it is, I don't know, but I'm performing just fine. The whole season I have been touched wood, so far so good. So this kind of, the body has to fight, the mind has to fight these things that happen to our body, right? If you just make up that mind and have religiously, I have to get up at this time, do my yoga, doesn't matter what happens before or after, this much is my life. Somehow things will come together. And what we are asking for is just 20 minutes. If you have time, do more, but 20 minutes, I'm not going to give up. And there are people who sit down and meditate for 20 minutes, that's also possible. But I would prefer to say that initially, in the initial years, it's yoga, asanas, and the movement and the breath and the whole chanting. All of these are more important than sitting and meditating, because first the body has to be prepared. Then the mind naturally will start moving towards that. So just sitting there 20 minutes, watching the breath is okay, but I would say that's approach from the body side. That way you will be able to do much better. Any questions on this? On the regularity side? Okay, all right. Next thing, contraindications and benefits. Okay, contraindications for people who have back pain. Since you're becoming a teacher, what you need to worry about is the back pain, and second thing is hypertension. These are the 2 things that are quite common in people. So if they have hypertension, then head below the heart, any position where the head goes below the heart, especially for a long time, that you may want to ask them to keep the head up. And we have done this before. One thing, Padahastasana. This is a standard practice. If you would like to come up for Padahastasana. in case of forward bending, for people with back pain as well as for people with hypertension, you want to first start with hands just above the knees and lengthening of the spine with chin up. So as long as there is a dip in the spine here, in the lower spine, and chin up, however they can get there, that is the best way for them to develop hamstrings. This is where the tightness will be for people. So doing this. And the other way to practice this is to use the wall. If you can use, see, I'm just going to show on the wall. So put the hands on the wall and go down and start walking down like that. See, that's another way. Go ahead, practice using any nearby wall and come back. Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, I can hear you and see you fine, by the way.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. So what is happening now? Okay. So people with back pain, right? Bending the knees. Next thing, we are talking very mild back pain here, okay? Bending the knees and head down. Drop the head down, bend your knees and bend forward. And now the abdomen has to go up, rest against the thighs. Forward bending squat pose. Let's put it this way for now, half squat. Okay, now people who don't have back pain as such, just start straightening your knees. Now stay there, stay there. Forward bending with your knees bent, abdomen to the thighs, and let go of the head. And now start straightening your knees only enough to still have the abdomen to the thighs. Okay, and gently come back. These are all simply just as a trial, and we'll discuss now. What are the aspects? And please sit. And now, what I wanted to say are those, for people who have back pain, make sure to bend their knees, okay? And once they bend their knees and let go of their head like that, if they can just only slightly straighten, they are going to develop loosening of the hamstrings. These muscles that connect to the glutes to here and the muscles of the hamstrings. Once they start loosening, then the back automatically starts feeling the stretch. So nothing wrong in forward bending for people with back pain, because there is still a lot that they achieve even through those movements. So what really matters is those movements. And now with hypertension, the way we look at this is very different, because hypertension is nowadays, many people are like that, right? One thing is making sure people with hypertension, when somebody like that comes to your class, first one session you want to, initially before they begin the session, tell them about this forward bending and being down there for a long time, they have to avoid. The second thing is they have to constantly monitor their heart for their blood pressure. Why? Yoga reduces their blood pressure. And if they are taking the same medication, what happens? Low blood pressure. That happens in Prashanti, Swami Vivekananda Yoga Research Foundation in Bangalore. They have, in India, they have a wellness center. And they say this to people with hypertension as well as to the diabetes patients. To measure, every day they measure their blood pressure, every day they ask them to measure, or they measure the sugar numbers. Why? Because that's a residential facility. So the whole day they are in relaxation, some yoga or the other. So within 2-3 days, all of these numbers start dropping. And people pass out if you take the same amount of medication, and sugar goes down if you take same amount of metformin. So the idea here is to ask them to monitor their blood pressure for 2 reasons. One is, as they start doing yoga, the blood pressure goes down, so they have to adjust their medication. Second thing is, some days maybe they are under stress. So although they may say, hey, my blood pressure is constant and it's always low, I have been taking medicines and I'm just stable, you still don't know, because some days can be worse than the other. So when that happens, and though they are otherwise, they say I have a very mild blood pressure, that day it might have shot up for any reason. And if they are practicing their head down positions, then it might be a bad idea. Okay, that's one. The other thing is, the idea is not to simply just banish them from doing the head down positions. Why? Because there are so many benefits from these practices. So it's okay for them to practice as long as they know they are okay and they are feeling fine doing that. And slowly with the practice, in fact, the circulatory system gets better and better. Their heart becomes better and better. Just to give an example, we have Dr. Dilip Sarkar. You can Google for him. He's been on International Association of Yoga Therapists board. He was a president, and now I think he's on the board. So he's a heart surgeon. Actually, very interestingly, he got into some bypass. I think either he had an attack or we don't know, but he had a bypass. And so he took up yoga after that. And when he came to us, it was already 10 years after his bypass and his yoga journey. And he said he can stand, he can do inversions, right? Shirshasana, the headstand position, for quite a long time, that too. So that's head down position. And he's a doctor. He said there is no contraindication as such. Like in the long term, there is no contraindication. Anything can be done by anybody and everybody. It's just that you have to build up the practice slowly. So people with hypertension, on the day one, of course, there is a contraindication. But after 3 years, if you still say don't do anything and you just behave like you have a hypertension and so you have to not do this, not do that, something is wrong with that story, because they have been coming to yoga. So your goal then is to work on them slowly, to take up these practices. But then the goal here is for them to listen to their body, listen to their, many people live with hypertension as if nothing has happened. And how is that possible? Just a pulse rate, if it goes from 65 to 80, it's not like I'm dying, but I know it. I know something is not right. And that's because we have been aware of our body and the benchmark of health. They have lost it. They get used to this state. So if you taught them if you give them a good benchmark in the class day after day after day, if they practice that, and if they understand what is a good benchmark, then as soon as their BP shoots up, they will know. They don't need to then onwards keep on, having that device to see their blood pressure. So help them develop that intelligence. Then it's okay for them to take up. Having said all of that, you are just becoming a teacher. You are just learning to give the instructions and teach them. It's better to be cautious. At the same time, I'm letting you know that everybody can do anything as long as they are taking it one small step at a time and not beyond that. Okay? Any questions on this? So now coming back to Padahastasana, what are the kinds of people that should not do Padahastasana? Or for the acute forward, standing forward bend, that is head down position, and it's acute forward bend. Two things, it's acute forward bend as well as it's head down position, and quite severely so. So people with hypertension, caution exercised. People with glaucoma, pressure in the eyes, caution exercised. They should exercise caution. And the third, so back pain, because of the acute forward bend. And so hypertension, back pain, and glaucoma. And the third one is, many a times this won't happen much with the forward with the Padahastasana, but still there are possibilities that if there is a recent dental work done, bending forward can cause the blood vessels to get irritated, and they'll not like it. So these are some of the things. Any other contraindications? Anybody with any medical knowledge here would like to add anything? Okay, so we usually bring about only the common conditions. Okay, so not like some random disease here and there. No, these are the common conditions. If somebody comes with something more than that, then we'll have to deal with that, balance issues and so forth. There will be so many other problems. So the next thing is, so we are talking about forward bending, right? Now sitting forward bends, like Paschimottanasana, sitting on the chair. No, sorry, sitting on the mat, right? Let's practice that. Ideally, there should be no difference because this is also acute forward bend. But I'm pretty sure Padahastasana and Paschimottanasana, this is called Paschimottanasana. The standing version is called Padahastasana. Paschimottanasana offers a slightly different kind of forward bend. Why? Because there is support here. So you're not really using this a whole lot. In case of Padahastasana, the gravity helps you come down. So much easier. Whereas in Paschimottanasana, that won't happen. So if you got up in the morning and started to do Paschimottanasana, you will find it very difficult. It's much easier to do standing Padahastasana even in the morning, but this one, quite difficult. So you may have to do a lot of loosening practices before you go into Paschimottanasana. And even now we haven't done a whole lot of loosening practices. So today's goal is a little different. So that's why I'm just discussing more today. So now sitting straight, this is yet another pose. So even if you want to do Paschimottanasana and you haven't done any loosening, sitting here like this with thighs, strong knees, pull up the kneecaps, and then strong calf muscles. That means you pull up the while sitting straight, you want to lift the heels off the ground while the calves are down. So that will engage the calf. So engage the calf, pull up the kneecaps, engage the thighs, and squeeze your buttocks so that you are now straight. And keep holding that tight. The whole legs are strongly held. The glutes are strongly held. The core muscles, that is the abdomen, is pulled in, tucked in, and the chest is wide. And this itself is a very engaging pose. This is Dandasana. That is the staff pose. Okay, sitting with the legs stretched. Now, take your arms up, stretch up. So, just simply hold, don't yet stretch. See the difference in the abdomen when you stretch up. So now stretch up. What happens to the abdomen muscles? The diaphragm. From diaphragm down, you will feel that it starts caving in. You see that? You feel that? Do that. Okay, good. So now lengthen the spine, draw the belly in. It happens naturally. Now bend, let's twist a little bit so that it's easy for you to bend forward. And of course, there should not be food inside the stomach. Very difficult to bend forward then. Now lengthen the spine again, draw the belly in naturally. Lengthen the spine at the giving in of the abdomen, and now bend forward from the root of the back, from the hip joint. Okay, now bend down, hold any part of the leg. Hold the leg, any part where you can hold, and now chin up, chin up. See the difference when you put the chin up, what happens to the low back? Put the heels down now. Low back, chin up. You see that the lengthening of the spine is taking place. This is perfectly fine Paschimottanasana for about a month or two for your participants before they know how to forward fold. Okay, so to forward fold, you should not compromise the low back. Okay, you should not round the low back. At this point, simply dropping the head down. And lengthen the spine as you bend forward. Keep lengthening the spine. You can hold the leg and pull the body, the spine, in such a way that the spine gets longer and longer as it goes down. And we'll practice this later. Okay, gently come back, and we'll just do, at the end, we'll do this practice of loosening Surya Namaskars and Padahastasana and the Paschimottanasana. I'm just giving concepts here. So what are the contraindications here? Back pain, for sure. For sure, back pain is, in fact, even Padahastasana may be slightly easier than this, because when they bend forward, in case of Padahastasana, somehow the hips go backward and somehow they might be able to, bend better. But here the hips cannot go backward, right? It's already sitting on the ground. So it's the best way for them, when everybody is doing that, is to bend their knees. So how you want to do that is, when you are sitting like that and you're giving forward bend your knees. Bend the knees and abdomen like that. Even wrapping the hands around and just head down is good enough for people with back pain. The other way to do is Janu Shirshasana, where you bend the one leg and then bend the other knee also a little bit and bend forward. These are all very mild back pain cases. But if there is real bad back, then obviously this is contraindicated. Practice, try all those. Bending the knees, arms below the legs, and then head down, and straighten your knees now. Straighten. These are all ways to learn also, for you to become flexible. Might feel a bit much more easy way of practicing for a long time. You can also take breaks like that, little breaks. When you want to take a break, just sit there and bend your legs, arms below the knees, and then head down and chant 3 Brahmaris. You will just feel very relaxed. So forward bending poses are relaxing poses. They are the poses that are given for people with anxiety too. It's a great pose. Shashankasana, of course, the most easiest pose, which is the child pose, sitting on your heels and bending forward. That is the Shashankasana, child pose. These are all poses that put the head down, and when the head goes down, letting go of the head. People like to hold their head up, by the way, in these poses. They like to hold their head up here in Paschimottanasana, and especially in Padahastasana. It's very difficult for people to let go of their head. They'll be holding the Padahastasana like this, little bit like this, and just dropping that. You should, I go around, especially in kids classes, I would go around just using the hand to put their head down. You'll always find in a class of 10 people, you will always find some 4 of them keeping the head slightly up. They did in San Francisco State University, there was a research done using EMG, electromusculograph, whatever that is called. Like EEG, they have EMG, I believe. And they used that on the neck, and without telling anybody, they just made them do Padahastasana, and they found a staggering number of people actually keeping their head up and not letting in the neck, because letting go of the head, it's as if it's going to drop off to the ground or something, right? We all have this inherent vasana, the tendency to hold ourselves at the neck level. So that's the place of tension. So it's good to give them forward bend, because they learn to let go of the head region, which is where head and neck, where there's a lot of tension. Okay, forward bending. Then comes the backward bend. So in case of backward bend, what are the contraindications? One is hernia, the first thing, that is, stretching the abdominal region. And the second thing is back, of course, because most of the people tend to do backward bend without lengthening the spine. So just come up to standing. hands just like that, right? Not too much up, slightly on your below the waist, okay, below the waist. And now simply push the pelvis forward slightly, very slightly, not even backward bending, just slightly push the pelvis forward. Now come back, now engage the glutes, lengthen the spine, and gently, very like a couple of inches forward, and come back. Try both. All we did, very minimal, right? Very minimal, and you will see the difference. Even in that much minimal back bend, pushing the pelvis forward and bending back, you will see the difference in the lower back. Very small engagement, very tiny adjustment will show you the difference in how people practice. And gently come back. So low back pain, and there is a possibility of injuring low back, by the way, with repeated back bends, especially with Surya Namaskars. So make sure when you're giving Surya Namaskar Yajna or long, any like 24, even 12 Surya Namaskars are bad enough if they do every day to hurt themselves, okay? So that's back pain and hernia. And then the other one is any of the vertigo or any balance issues when they bend back, that can trigger. So you want to be careful about that. So that is the standing forward bend. Sitting forward bend, not much of a difference, same thing. The Ushtrasana, camel pose, where you kneel down and bend back, same problems. But on the other hand, if you are practicing, say, cobra, that is lying down on your tummy, you all know cobra, right? So there is a back bend, but that is not contraindicated for the back pain if they are practicing the low cobra. So for the low cobra, there is a low cobra and high cobra, right? And people with back pain ideally should practice low cobra because that is working on the core and the upper back. Using the upper back, you tend to come up. But when you want to go up like that, then if there is a back pain, then caution is exercised. Otherwise not. And same with the hernia, of course, they have to listen to their body and talk to their doctors and so forth, because it all depends on how long the hernia has been, since when they have been in surgery and all that stuff. Okay, then what else? Next is standing. All the standing poses, right? Vrikshasana, the tree pose. Varicose veins, circulation issues. These are some of the things that they have to, heart conditions. If they stand and they are engaging their calf, then it helps the circulation. So in a way, initially, they have to be very cautious about standing for a long time if there is circulation issues. But then as they continue to practice, the legs grow strong and the calf muscles grow strong, and that will actually help them with the circulation, as long as it's a milder condition. And same thing with any of the peripheral vascular disease, any varicose veins, better not to stand for too long. Okay, people with standing jobs, no need, right? A lot of inversion kind of poses. Okay, and then the next thing is arms above the head. In case of Vrikshasana, there is no need for them to stand like that, especially with people with hypertension, circulation problems, heart problems. They can stand in Vrikshasana with hands in Namaskar Mudra. These are some of the common contraindications. Now coming to the benefits. Again, today I'm focusing on forward bend, backward bend, and things like that for the most part at the spine level. Back bend opens the chest, opens the spine, lengthens the spine. These practices are good for people with the type C people who like to please others, who have this tendency to withhold and not express, and those kind of people who have self-esteem issues, low self-esteem, they can benefit from this backward bend. People who are type A, for example, high achievers, and they have to go and get that. Forward bending poses, humility, teaches humility. These asanas are also like mudras. What's the mudra? Mudra means a gesture, like I'm doing this. Hey, listen to me. See that? Hey, listen to me. Otherwise, I'm going to, we are threatening doing this. And this is another one, tarjani. This is the word tarjani in Sanskrit. Tarjani means to yell, to scold. So this finger is called tarjani because it's used when we are yelling at people, right? So the gestures, body gestures define our emotions, and vice versa. Emotions define our body, emotions define our body gestures. And in yogic world, it's opposite. The body gestures define our emotions. That is, let's say when I'm humble, I just go like that. When I'm mad, I go like that. So, right. So if you're always, too much, humility and too much of anything is not considered great, right? If you don't know how to stand up for yourself, then it's good for you to do some back bends, and then that naturally you will tend to open up. And if you are too much into, just being on top of the world, and that's how you're used to, and you want to be the boss of everything, then you may do well with some forward bending poses, because that brings humility. So this is about backward bend, forward bend. And the respiratory issues, opening up of the chest will always help you with respiratory issues. And they have found out that asthma also has that connection of type C. And people with type C and people who have that tendency to withdraw develop more respiratory issues. So then back bends will help them. Okay. And twists, the next thing. Twists, of course, all back bend and forward bend and twist are all good for spine, but I'm bringing a little more than that. Twists are always great for, they are called detox poses, because they twist the abdominal organs and they create good digestion, good for constipation and things like that. So twists are detox poses. So as long as you remember this combination of when forward bend, when backward bend, when twist, and rest of it is all, after that there will be a lot of more of, these are all common sense issues for the most part. As we say, even the cat knows how to stretch when the back is stiff, right? So we humans can learn from all these animals, and that's why all the poses have the animal names, right? So we have come out of that inner body's intelligence, and we are just going back to it. As such, that's what is therapy all about. And that's what safe practice of yoga is all about. Okay? Can we now do some practices? Since many of you are saying you didn't get your practice for the week. Any questions?
Ashwini, do you have any forms like, that we could have when doing yoga classes that they could check box? Do you have hypertension? Do you have diabetes? Do you have you had hernia surgery? With check boxes and that we could look at and use for when we are.
We have a whole, yes, we have health, right. We have health assessment form, which we use for, share that. Okay, all right then. Let's come up to standing now. Can see me fully, I guess. Can see me fully? Looks like, okay. Okay, let's come up to standing position. Today I'll give you some hasta vinyasas. These are side arm stretches, just a little different from what we have done before, just as a breathing practice. So Ujjayi breathing, the oceanic sound that we make, the whispering sound, hissing sound at the throat level, constricting the glottis and making that sound. So as you inhale, take your arms up, interlock the fingers and stretch up. And in this case, the feet have to be ideally together. Feet together, ankles together, knees together. Contract the glutes and push the pelvis slightly forward. It's a little different pose than the usual Tadasana. So stretch up and up, and you will see that the abdomen caves in. This is the Hasta Vinyasa practice, the Samasthiti. And as you exhale, bring your arms down. We'll practice this a few more times. Inhale, arms up, and stretch, interlock the fingers, stretch up like this, interlocking the fingers and stretching up. And exhale, bring your arms down. So stand in sthiti again, nicely, fully. Inhale, up, Ujjayi breathing. Exhale and bring your arms down. We'll now go into side to side bending. Inhale, arms up, same position again, feet together, stretch up. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Eyes closed if possible. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. If balance tends to go, then half open your eyes. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. We'll now practice twisting. Exhale, twist to the right. Feet on the ground. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Stretch up. And now we'll be bringing the arms down like that. Exhale, bring the arms down, palms facing up. Inhale, set up. Exhale, down. Inhale, stretch up. This opens the shoulders. Exhale, down. One last time. Inhale, up. Exhale, and down. And gently inhaling. Bring your arms up and exhale. Bring your arms down. Relax, eyes closed, legs apart. Observe the shoulders and the arms. And gently come back. And we'll now practice the usual loosening and Surya Namaskars. The goal is not asanas today, just giving you just as a loosening so that we can practice our meditation practice well, okay? So hands in the front. And as you exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, come back, exhale, twist to the left. Go ahead, practice that as a fast loosening practice. Exhale, 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 exhale. And slow down and gently come back. Relax. And now, Trikonasana bend. Feet apart. Make an equilateral triangle of your legs and the space between the legs. Arms out. Now, from the if you bend, this is how you bend. You bend at the hip joints, okay? So, to the right, come up, to the left as you exhale. Right and left. Exhale and exhale. Exhale, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently come back, slow down, and release. Now bend and twist. So bend forward, keeping that low back spine nicely, stretched, and touch the opposite toe. Look up and swing your arms to the opposite side and touch. Bend and twist. Parivritta Trikonasana bend. Continue as fast as you can. Exhale in the final pose. Slow down and gently stop the practice. Now tie your hands, go down and get that forward bend. Nice forward bend with legs apart, stretching your hip region. And gently come back. And bend one leg at the knee, join the other, and we are ready for Surya Namaskars. Hands in Namaskar Mudra. And today we'll just do a few of them just like that with no mantra and all. Just simply flowing through the asanas. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, bend forward. Inhale, right leg back. Exhale, left leg back. Body one straight line. Inhale, knees. Exhale, chest and forehead. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, the Parvatasana mountain or downward dog as they call it. Inhale, right leg front. Exhale, left leg joins the right, head down. Inhale, come back up, or you can bend back and come back up. Continue. Inhale, ekam. Dve, exhale. Trini, left leg back. Inhale and exhale. Ashwasanchalana. Chatwari. Body one straight line. Pancha, knees, chest, forehead. Chet up into upward dog or Bhujangasana. Knees off the ground. Exhale. Downward dog. Bring your feet slightly forward. Walk your feet just about an inch forward, heels to the ground. Inhale, same right leg forward or left leg forward. Exhale, right leg joins the left leg, head down. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, back into Namaste. I'll count now. Ekam, inhale. Dve, exhale. Trini, inhale. Right leg. Chatwari, exhale. Left leg. Body one line. Pancha, Ashtanga Namaskara. Shat, inhale. Bhujangasana. Sapta. Exhale. Ashta. Right leg forward. Nava. Left leg joins. Dasha, up and back. Back to Namaste. Come up and back. Asana. Dve, Padahastasana. Exhale. Trini, left leg back. Ashwasanchalanasana. Chatwari, Chaturanga Dandasana. Pancha, Ashtanga Namaskara. Shat, Bhujangasana. Sapta, Parvatasana. Ashta, left leg forward. Ashwasanchalana. Nava, Padahastasana. Dasha. Go back, come back up into Namaskara Mudra. Gently release and relax. And we'll practice quick relaxation technique. Lie down in Shavasana. It's really a quick relax, 3 minutes. Quick relaxation is about relaxing for 3 minutes. And the way to quickly relax is by abdominal breathing. So legs apart, hands apart, palms facing the roof, fingers in their natural curve. Inhale and exhale. Abdominal breathing. Connect your breath with your abdomen. Inhale. Exhale. Now, let us bring some cessations of breath. So, just breathe when you need one. Inhale and exhale and relax. Inhale, exhale, and relax. The abdomen bulges out, and as you inhale and as you exhale, the abdomen collapses down, and there is no need to breathe between the breaths. Between two breaths, there is a silence. Focus on that. Only when there is an urge to breathe, take a deep breath, abdominal breathing, and exhale and relax. And we'll add some feelings to the breath. Inhale, fresh oxygen enters your system. Exhale, relax and let go of the tension. Inhale, positive thoughts entering your mind. Exhale, any negativity leaving. We'll now chant 3 Akara. Inhale. 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 And gently, when you're ready, turn over to one side with hand as a pillow, lie down to the right or to the left, and when you're ready to come up, sit up. And slowly come up to standing and perform your Padahastasana, either Ardha Padahastasana or full Padahastasana. That is either you go to the, just like that, or a complete one, as long as you're comfortable doing that based on whatever limitations you have, and stay there. This time I'll be staying there for a whole minute, so be comfortable The whole idea of practicing a long asana is no holding of the, okay, can you just look at, hold on, can you come up? I see some mistakes happening there. Okay, so you cannot just hold like this and just do this. This is not giving you anything. So either you hold your knees and practice half, that is lifting up like this. This is half just to get that stretch in the hip region. So this is fine. But if you let go of the hands also and bend forward like that, whichever works for you. You can also hold any part of, I'm holding my bed here and I stretch and I hold like that. The whole idea is to practice it in such a way that you're getting that deep practice with relaxation. So yeah, so that is fine. If you hold your any part of even holding the sofa or any place where you can hold, so that you have that dip in the lower spine. Yeah, or complete forward bend, and you can bend with your knees bent however you want to, because I'm going to make you stay there for a long time. Breathe into the pose. Feel the blood flow into the head region. Now, if anybody would like to do the full one, feel free to do that. If you have been doing half and you want to go to the full one, feel free to do that. Stay. At any point it's too much and want to go back to half one, feel free to do that too. Stay. Get that experience of deep forward bend, the good flow of blood to the head region. We'll chant humming sound, Brahmari Makara, in this pose 3 times. Inhale. Now, if you're fully bent forward, walk your hands along the legs and come up slowly. Slowly come back up, release, come up on the mat for one more forward bend. And if you think that's too much for you, you can always take a break and not do it. So now we'll do one sitting forward bend and then Ushtrasana. So Paschimottanasana, first sitting in Dandasana, back straight, your thighs, calf, hands just by the side without taking any support, long spine. And bring your arms up, draw the belly in and bend forward. And hold any part of your legs, pull the spine up and bend down. If you can and want to forward fold, do that. Otherwise, keep the chin up and lengthen the spine and hold there. Whichever works for you. Breathe into the pose. Stay. We'll chant humming sound 3 times here. Bring the head down. Inhale. Gently come up and relax without disturbing that peace. Come up on your knees and let's practice the Ushtrasana, taking the hands behind the pelvis, opening the chest, lengthening the spine, contract the glutes and push the pelvis forward to bend back. And if you can practice full Ushtrasana, place your hands on the heels and drop the head back into full Ushtrasana. Whichever works for you. We'll chant Akara in this pose. Inhale. And inhale, come back. And exhaling, go into Shashankasana, the child pose. On your heels, hips on your heels, head on the ground. If head doesn't reach the ground, slightly separate your knees or tuck the toes so that the head goes down. We'll chant 3 humming sound here. Inhale. 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 And gently walk your hands or gently come up to sitting in any which way you like to. And we'll move on to the practice of pranayama. Sitting comfortably. Today's practice of pranayama will be on focusing on the Nadi Shodhana practice. So let us first sit comfortably. We'll also move towards the Mudra Pranayama, the sectional breathing. The 2 focuses today. So sit comfortably. Back straight. Adopt Nasika Mudra. Back has to be straight, so obviously not like that, just sitting straight with back straight. You can always use the other hand to support the right hand. So you can have the left hand to support the right in case you have any problem with the right shoulder, or you can use the opposite, whichever works for you. So first we'll practice Surya Anuloma Viloma. So closing the left nostril, only breathe with the right. Close the left nostril with the ring finger and only breathe with the right. Surya Anuloma Viloma. The right nostril breathing. Visualize the energy of the sun stimulation, radiance of sun. As you breathe with your only the right nostril. If at any point you have any discomfort because of blocked nostril, you can always stop the practice and only visualize the right nostril breathing. So as you can see that the health is in the nose, keeping both nostrils open is the goal of Yogasana, because the nostrils are associated with the nadis in the back. The spine has Ida and Pingala Nadi, the yin and the yang. So keeping those open, keeping the central channel of Shushumna open is the goal of pranayama. So continue with the right nostril breathing. Surya Anuloma Viloma. Sun energy. Sun breathing, so to say. Hard to translate. And last one. And release. The hand, relax and observe the right nostril, compare it with the left. And now moving on to the left nostril breathing, Chandra Anuloma Viloma, closing the right nostril with the thumb. Continue with the left nostril breathing. Only the left. The soothing, cooling, calming sensation of Chandra, the moon. No hurry to inhale or exhale. Ideally, a longer exhalation. Chandra Anuloma Viloma, the left nostril breathing. Left nostril breathing is also a great practice for anxiety, hypertension, for vatas, as far as Ayurveda is concerned. And gently, after the last round, stop the practice. Hands down. And on the days you want to relax and you have too much anxiety, practice a lot of left nostril breathing. On the days you want to do a lot of work, process-driven work, practice right nostril breathing. On the days you want to have a art, want to paint or dance or sing, you have a performance, practice left nostril breathing. So you can essentially invoke the artistic brain or the process-driven brain based on the nostrils that you breathe with. Now to balance this, let us practice Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, both right and left alternately. So take Nasika Mudra again. And closing the, inhale deeply, close the right nostril, exhale and inhale from the left. Close the left, exhale, inhale through the right. Continue. Switch after inhalation. Switch the nostrils after inhalation. Back straight. Chest open. Chin down. And if the hand hurts, switch the other and use the other hand. Last one. One breath with right and one exhale, inhale from the left and one exhale, inhale from the right. Makes it one round. After the last inhalation from the right side, bring your hand down, release, relax. Observe the two nostrils. Beautifully balanced. And in this state of beautiful balance, let us move on to the next one, wherein we practice sectional breathing with mudras and with chanting as the meditation practice, pranayama as well as meditation, and also breath awareness at different lobes of the lungs. So sitting again with back straight, adopt chin mudra, and let us practice abdominal breathing. Inhale, the abdomen bulges out. Exhale, relax the abdomen. And observe the Kevala Kumbhaka, the cessation of breath after every exhalation. So abdominal breathing with the Kevala Kumbhaka, cessation of breath. And in that cessation of breath, be aware of the chin mudra, thumb and index finger, and a little pulsation between them. One breath at the abdomen level, and then observe the pulse. Keep observing the pulse as you breathe with your abdomen. The focus is not a long, deep breath. It's more about awareness of the abdomen. Fill only the lower lobes of the lungs as you observe the pulse at the end or even through the practice. But you will see that the pulsation is more pronounced when you're not really busy breathing. And it's okay if you cannot feel the pulse. And we'll now chant Akara. Inhale. And observe. Release the mudra, the thumb and index finger, but continue to hold the hands and observe the pulsation or the sensitized fingertips even after you have released. The phantom effect of the touch. And now adopting Chinmaya Mudra, thumb and index finger touching each other. Rest of the fingers are curled inward, touching the palms, placing them on the thighs. We'll now practice chest level breathing. Inhale, the chest bulges out. Exhale, relax the chest and observe the mudra and the touch. And any pulsation if you can feel it. Continue breathing at the chest level. And at the end of every exhalation, towards the last part of the exhalation, study the mudra. Chest level breathing. We'll now chant Oo sound. Inhale. Release the mudra and observe the whole of the fingertips. At any comfortable, sit on any chair or anything. Now adopting Brahma Mudra, thumb tucked inside, fingers curled around to form a fist, neither too tight nor too loose, making a fist like a baby, holding the hands in a fist. And now let us practice shoulder level breathing. Inhale, the shoulder muscles go upwards, the upper lobes of the lungs filling in. And exhale, relax. Try not to lift the shoulders. It's the muscles that lift it's the breath that lifts the shoulders up. Inhale. Upwards and exhale, relax and observe the fists, the little pulsation inside the fists, thumping sensation. Feel the pulsation. Continue the upward breathing. Keep observing pulsation in the fists. Now chant. Humming sound, the makara. Inhale. Release the mudra and relax. Observe the whole of the palms. Feel the blood flow into the palms. And now making the same fists and placing them in Brahma Mudra at the navel region, fists facing up. We'll now practice full yogic breathing. As you inhale, the abdomen bulges out, the chest expands, and the shoulder muscles are pulled upward. Exhale, and you feel a beautiful recoil of the lungs downward. Continue full yogic breathing. Inhale, the abdomen, chest and the shoulders expand. And exhale, all three lobes of the lungs collapse down, and a beautiful suspension of breath results. Awareness at the navel region and the mudra, the two fists. You chant the sound of Aum, chanting Aumkara, in one breath. Inhale. Release the mudra, relax. Observe the palms, observe the mind, observe your breath. Hands on your thighs, Sukha Mudra, simply observing your breath. And joining your hands to the heart center. We'll end the session with Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, wishing this peace and harmony to the whole universe. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Taking your hands back, catching hold of right wrist with your left hand. Inhale, bend back. Exhale from the lower back, bending down, taking the blessings. Inhaling, coming back up. And releasing your hands. Rubbing your palms. Massaging your face, cupping your eyes. With hands in front of you like an open book, blink into the palms. Thank you. Namaste. Okay, so that was the practice. I think we are doing pretty well now. I think we'll have probably only one more session. We are pretty good to go for up to when we meet. So I don't see the need for too many classes. We'll give you the homework to practice though. And that's most important. You can have a group for yourself, and that's the best way to actually, whether you meet in person or do on the video, it does not matter, as long as you just share, meet somehow or meet and practice, that will motivate you. Okay. And yeah, any questions, or should we conclude? Feedback, questions, anything?
And would you all prefer next week on Sunday or Monday as the last one?
Sunday? Yeah, can we do next week Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah. Should be good.
Same time at 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
1 p.m. your time, 5 p.m. our time, right?
Yeah.
And do we have to, in terms of your trip, everything is okay? Everything is set for you guys in terms of coming? I know I have to sign the MOU and send it, so I'll probably print it this afternoon, sign it, and
yeah, I believe it's all set. Yeah, nothing from my end.
Yeah, sure.
Good. I'm okay. And if anyone else have any questions or anything, you could feel free.
Yeah, and we'll start preparing for those the assessment sheets and everything. Yeah, we'll do that.
One quick question, Ashwini ji.
Sure.
If the cessation is coming, the kumbhak is coming easily more after inhalation than after exhalation. Not good.
Yeah. Here is the question to you. How can there be a cessation after inhalation? You have probably got used to it, and that's why you're practicing kumbhaka. The whole idea is when you exhale, the lungs are in the state of relaxation. When you inhale, the lungs are not in the state of relaxation. So, and I have to answer your K3 question also, right? So the point here, as far as the kumbhaka is concerned, when you exhale, before you next inhale, the lung state is relaxed. It's better to practice this lying down than sitting, because it's much easier to practice like that. Because you inhale and you exhale, the lungs go relax. And then the next breath arises only when there is a need to breathe. Like, for example, when you're hungry, you eat. When you are hungry for breath, you take one. So that state of it takes some amount of practice, but
the opposite happens with me. So when I inhale, I just feel calm, but then I don't realize that I am actually exhaling. So it's very, 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 very slow exhalation. And then when I realize that I finish, then I need to inhale.
okay.
So the cessation starts, so it's not complete cessation, but it's like inhale.
Okay. You're practicing Ujjayi breathing, which is perfectly fine.
Okay. But
Yeah.
then to practice lying would be better for the complete cessation after exhalation.
No. All of this is naturally happening. But if you're taking a long time to exhale, which means you are practicing exhalation Ujjayi, that is a practice by itself. And there's nothing wrong with that, except Sahaja Pranayama is Sahaja Pranayama, Ujjayi breathing is Ujjayi breathing. They are two separate practices. So you have to understand that when we practice Sahaja Pranayama, there is no effort. In Ujjayi, there is an effort. There is that is a great way to breathe. That is no doubt. So holding awareness for a long time is also taxing. So keep that in mind. Keeping awareness is not an easy practice for beginners. So there is some effort involved. And as it becomes natural and automatic, in which in your case, probably that's the case, and it's okay to do that. But when you consciously want to do Sahaja Pranayama, you're not at all slowing down anything. You're just observing. So really what happens is lungs expand and naturally they recoil. You're not doing anything there. And when they recoil, they go into a state of relaxed state. And there is no reason for us to immediately inhale because the mind is so relaxed. When the mind is relaxed, the breath is maximum utilization of the sugars are burning only for the sake of the head region, right? Lots of stuff happening in the head. I mean, when we say mind is not necessarily head, but it's okay. It's a regularly used term like that. So the point is, when the mind relaxes, then the need for the breath reduces. So you are in a state of relaxed lungs, not in the state of like, holding the lungs up like this. Then that is also work. And it's okay. Kumbhaka has its place. I'm not denying that. And we'll talk about that. But as of now, when we talk about exhalation and cessation of breath, that is simply relaxed state of lungs. Okay. And the second thing is Khechari. Khechari is a very wrongly used term. Khechari, for that matter, the classic Khechari involves swallowing the tongue. And you cannot swallow tongue unless you lengthen the tongue enough to swallow. So to lengthen the tongue, they actually cut the lower portion. And it cannot be done after we grow up. So you have to be young to be able to start lengthening. Let me finish the explanation. Sorry?
I always thought it was a cool trick that I could have done, swallowing the tongue when I was younger. So I would make my tongue disappear and I would just show my friends and they would be like, "Where's your tongue?" So naturally, I always, and I used to ask my dad, "Hey, what?" And then when I was in my teenage years, I found out about Khechari Mudra. And then last week, in the pranayama class, that's when the teacher said to just take the tongue upwards, and if you can put it above the soft palate and behind to touch the top of the skull, the base of the skull, sorry. And that's when I had all this fluid as well come, and I had to spit it out then.
Yeah. All of these are very intense practices. And for that, there are a whole bunch of rules beforehand. So if you don't follow that, let's say you go eat a huge slice of pizza previous night, get up in the morning, swallow your tongue and practice Khechari Mudra, you will get into a lot of problems. So the energy that you are going to create has to be channelized in a very sattvic manner. So we don't suggest all of that. Neither am I expert in Kechari Mudra to guide you, nor any one of us has done these things. Nor should we do that in a regular lifestyle. It has to be, you have to go into some cave-like situation, into a guru's hands, and they guide you, and then you come back, follow all the rules that the guru tells you, even if you're in a household situation. But most of the householders, they don't ask you to do these Kechari Mudras. It has to be, you have to celibacy. A lot of things go along with that, and food included. And you're supposed to eat only once, and there's a whole bunch that goes with it.
So thank you for that guidance, because I just experimented with it last week, and I can tell you it was quite an experience. So I will leave that at the back burner for now.
Yeah, please. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Sure.
Just a note, when I was sending my last review, I think I lost it in the transition from my computer to, so I did it over. So I don't know if you might got two, and I wasn't sure that.
No problem. Yeah. Your name, please, sir?
Tepi Chan Basdeo.
Okay, Ji. Sure. No problem. We'll take care of that. Thank you. Thank you, Ji.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.